Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Wacky and Weird Wednesday episode. We're covering all the wacky and weird news that's going on this week today. And of course, we have our annual Gloucester cheese roll. Everyone rolling down the hill. So of course, we're going to cover that story. Very short story, mostly in pictures, but you know, it happens every year, so we got to cover in our Wacky and Weird news segment. We also have some news about all sorts of other things, and some animals doing stuff, and people achieving great feats that you didn't even know that they could even achieve. So, welcome to Before Coffee. This is the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we start. We haven't had any caffeine, we rolled out of bed, and now we're ready to try to read some stories to you. So let's get started with today's headlines. Today on Wacky and Weird Wednesday, runners trip, stumble, and roll their way to victory in the animal downhill cheese chase. And tourists urged to stop jamming coins into iconic Giant Causeway rocks.
Happy Weird Wednesday from the United States. This is Roger, where skeletal remains found on a New Jersey beaches decades ago identified as a captain of a 19th century ship.
Sherpa summits Everest for the 31st time, breaking his own record.
And archaeologists followed a sketch by Leonardo da Vinci and found a secret tunnel to a castle. Plus, there's an unknown bacteria that is developed in a Chinese space station and might be causing a problem.
License to leak. Has watchmaker Omega just revealed the identity of the new James Bond?
And it's National Beef Burger Day and also National Hamburger Day, which are also National Brisket Day. So while you sit there and figure out what to do with your meat, we're going to give you some news on May 28th, 2025 on Before Coffee.
You're a meat lover, today's your day, that's for sure.
That's right. Hamburger.
And I guess if you're a grape lover, yesterday was your day.
You can have
put a burger between your flip-flops and lift your way to senior health. Yeah.
Right on.
Protein. Let's get started with our first segue, because we're going to be chatty enough as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you would rather us just chat for an hour and a half, because we will.
Longer, perhaps.
Okay, looks like non sequitur is our first segue today.
All right. No,
I do have two stories here, but the first one's quite short. It's more of a picture story than anything else. Coming out of Brockworth, England, by Anthony Upton on AP News. A German YouTuber tripped, stumbled, and tumbled his way to victory for the second year, running at one of Britain's zaniest sports contests. Tom Kopke of Munich was king of Cooper's Hill in the annual cheese rolling competition as runners plunged down a 200-yard, 180-meter, perilously steep pitch in pursuit of the speeding wheel of the double Gloucester cheese. Kopke was the first to reach the bottom of the hill behind the cheese. All the people at the top said they were going to steal my title, but this is mine, the shirtless Kopke declared as he clutched his prize, the 7-pound, 3-kilogram circle of cheese. I risked my life for this. It's my cheese, back to back.
Cheese.
The contest, traditionally held on late May, public holiday near Gloucester, about 90 miles west of London, or 145 kilometers, pretty far, dates back to at least 2 centuries, maybe longer. It's attended by thousands who pack the woods flanking the hill or take cover behind fences at the bottom, as competitors from around the world risk serious injury in hope of glory for the Gloucester cheese. Gravity and acceleration combine to leave few runners on their feet, leading to epic wipeouts that can result in twisted ankles, broken collarbones, and concussions. Avasender Logan from London won the women's race after somersaulting and rolling at least a dozen times as she clutched her head. Talk about dizzy. I will probably feel it tomorrow, she said. It felt quite long coming down, and then I hit my head. I'm down. That's what matters. I'm fine.
Ouch.
And now we're looking at some photos
really
for the people who will see some pictures of this amazing race. So let me show you to that real quick.
How many ambulances at the bottom of the hill?
They probably have a couple, for sure. So here we go. We've got our first photo. There's some people dressed in gimp suits wearing GoPros. White gimp suits is all I can explain it. Some people, in normal clothes. There's people who just go out there fully just, this is what I wore today. Got the people, some kids, I think. No, these are this is the women's race. No, this is the mixed race, and there's just people at the start, ready to take. Oh no, this is the children's race. I thought they were children. Like, those look like children. Children from 11 can start it, and this is the children's race.
Do people in wheelchairs participate?
Yeah, maybe. They'd probably fall off and then just be stranded, honestly. It's a very steep hill.
Put a ramp at the bottom. There you go.
Yeah, people of all places and creeds rolling down this hill. And we've got a nice crotch shot here of this guy. His landed completely on his head. Just legs in the air. Got the crowds. There's people that, like, way more people are just watching it, right? They're here to just watch the different runs, the female run, the men's run, and of course the children's run. I think this is the women's run. Lots of dirt, lots of mud. And this is like the whole hill. It's not a very long hill, but it's steep. It's steep enough that
whole hill.
And we've got Kopka here, shirtless, with his cheese, holding his cheese for Munich. Very proud winner.
Hold your
and of course,
cheese
we've
proud.
got somebody splayed out on the ground. And a warning, Cooper's Hill, this is for the cheese roll. This is dangerous. You will get hurt. And it's not our problem if you get damaged. Oh, here's the woman's winner. Ava.
Nobody's making... They got to sign a waiver, I think. You will not sue us.
Of course. So, there's your cheese run pictures. You have a non sequitur for me?
I have a comment for... Well, kind of a non sequitur, but... Man, what a golden opportunity for like a pillow company. You just shove a big giant pillow at the bottom of the hill and just, advertise. Put your logo all over it. Jim's Pillow Company. And people go tumbling into it and they don't get hurt. My non sequitur's a joke. If they held this in the American South, it would be called cheese and crackers. Anyway.
Hey, Omlin, thank you for ranking up. You now get to pick a game for me to play next week, so congratulations on that. 46.
I can rag on my own group.
Gold medal. Okay, for our next segment, just a little longer one. Tourists are urged to stop jamming coins into the Giant Causeway. This is in Northern Ireland by Alexander Butler on The Independent. Tourists risk destroying Northern Ireland's iconic Giant Causeway rocks by jamming coins between them, experts warn. Yeah, it's almost like manufactured mint is not naturally good relationship with rocks. National Trust Engagement Officer Dr. Cliff Henry said the discarded tender breaks and discolors 60-million-year-old rocks by rusting and expanding. At least 684,000 tourists visit County Antrim site last year, with some leaving behind unwanted mementos due to copycat behavior. That us humans, we just can't help it but say, oh, if one person did it, I can do it too. The coins are causing damage and they're urging people to stop the practice, Dr. Henry said. They're rusting and expanding, which causes the rock to crumble. The rusting metal is there and starting to leach. The iron and nickel and copper is leaching out over the rocks and it looks unsightly. Yeah, you can see here in a picture, I can see here in a picture, just a bunch of copper stains all over these beautiful black rocks, which are hexagonal in shape. If you don't know what the causeway looks like, just imagine a bunch of rocks, almost looks like a 3D chess board, and they're all just popping out of the ground. Very cool. But people are leaving coins. The National Trust is set to spend £30,000 removing the coins, with a specialist stonemason extracting around 10% of them so far. We'll also erect signs on the world-famous site warning visitors against leaving the objects in an effort to protect and care for places so people and nature can thrive. Dr. Kirsten Lemon of the Geological Survey of Northern Ireland added that advice is to see if we can remove as many of those coins as we can. By removing them, it means we're stopping any further physical impact on the site itself. We're also stopping the chemical impact as well. Everyone loves a little copper leaching into the sea. The discarded coins show a range of visitors from around the world, with most coming from the UK and the EU, as well as the Far East and the United States, the National Trust said. Last year, the Giant Causeway received about 684,000 visits. In 2018, there were nearly 1 million visits, according to the BBC. According to legends, the site was formed by an Irish giant, Finn McCool, who created the causeway to get across the Irish Sea to face his rival, the Scottish giant Benandonor. The mighty Benandonor then tore up most of the causeway to prevent Finn from getting back to Scotland. Another legend has it that the causeway was built so Finn could meet a Scottish maid he was enamored with. However, most geologists agree it was created by an outpouring of basalt lava 60 million years ago, around the time the North Atlantic was opening up. Well, that's not very wacky or weird. Well, most geologists are boring. No, giants aren't real. It was just some basalt. It's an icon for Northern Ireland. If we can't look after this, what's the hope for the rest of the country? We really need to be looking after the causeway as best we can, Dr. Henry told the BBC. So, there's your more wacky and weird news about humans, awesome wacky humans, littering and saying, well, if everyone else is littering, I must be allowed to too. Good old copycat behavior.
For me. Yeah, monkey see, monkey do.
Give me
my drill instructor used to say.
Yeah.
That was when you were more common. Oh, you see idiot doing something stupid, so you do it just because you think he's smarter than you. That's not the way to learn. You ever see that? This is my non sequitur. You ever see that show, Life After Humans? You'll see what happens to things that are built with steel over time, right?
Yeah.
You know, for instance, rebar and concrete. These, metal. They're steel rods, right? If any oxygen at all gets in there, they rust, and they start rusting, and they don't stop, and they, of course, they expand. Yeah. Erosion causes expansion because there needs to be more oxygen, and it just gets worse and worse and worse as it penetrates, and the buildings eventually fall down in like 1,000 years or something. Anyway, there's my non sequitur. Anything built with iron is built to fail because it's gonna corrode.
Good old oxygen.
All right.
Okay, let's roll another segue.
Kind of built to fail. Okay. Non sequitur. I got one story for my first segment. What do we got?
Accurate metaphor or simile?
Accurate metaphor. This is from CBSNews.com. Carrie Breen. Did you ever try to carry Breen? It's not really easy.
It's very sticky.
There's no handle on it. Yeah, that's right. It's very... no handle. Sticks to your clothes, gets all over you. Anyway, skeletal remains found on New Jersey beaches decades ago identified as captain of a doomed 19th century ship. Wow, this is crazy. Carrie Breen is a news editor at CBS.com, so that's introducing herself there. Students at Ramapo College help police identify remains linked to cold case. Cool. That's it. Skeletal remains found on New Jersey beaches decades ago have been identified as those of a 19th century schooner captain thanks to the investigative efforts of college students. The ship, the Oriental, sank in 1844. The schooner was transporting 60 tons of marble from Connecticut to Philadelphia to be used in the construction of Girard College. I wonder which still operates today.
Must be really heavy marble. That's some dense stuff. Yeah. No wonder it sank.
Yeah, even though their wall never got finished, Girard College still continued to operate. The ship likely sprung a leak, according to the news release, announcing the identification
and
of a remain.
instantly sank because it was holding marble. Like, hello.
Not exactly light.
No,
it had a leak. It had a hole. Don't have a hole in your hull. It sank off the coast of Brigantine Shoal. All 5 crew members aboard the ship died. Well, that sucks.
Yeah,
just delivering
probably because it
marble.
sank instantly. I swear to you, this ship must have sank instantly. No one had a chance. There's no chance.
Yeah. bet you the marble's still there. Anyway, the skeletal remains, including a skull, were found on a number of South Jersey beaches between 1995 and 2013. The set of remains become known as the Scattered Man John Doe. Police efforts to identify the bones failed. In 2023, New Jersey State Police partnered with Ramapo College's Investigative Genetic Genealogy Center. A sample from the bones was uploaded to genetic genealogy company International Forensics, which submitted it to DNA matching sites on February 2024. I mean, they crowdsourced it is what they did, right? That's what these DNA matching sites are. It's crowdsourced. People put their DNA in there and they say, who am I related to? Meanwhile, students at Ramapo used the profile for research. They found ancestry matches dating back to the 1600s, including a genetic relatives from Connecticut. For the next year, students continued to find ties to Connecticut, and eventually they started looking at shipwrecks off the coast of New Jersey. They came upon 2 articles about the sinking of the Oriental. One article named the crew members aboard at the time of the sinking, and another detailed the wreck itself. The storm was so tremendous that no help could be given from the shore, said the article, which was published in the Boston Daily Bee in December 1844, and described an account from a Connecticut publication. According to the article, one crew member was decently buried after his corpse was thrown on the shore. No other bodies were discovered immediately after his sinking. And here's the article. It's actually got a picture of the actual article. I won't read it. But a clipping, it's got a picture of the clipping from the Boston Daily Bee, is what it's called. The circumstantial evidence in genetic ancestry led the students to believe Scattered Man John Doe might be the captain of the ship Henry Goodsell. Goodsell was 29 at the time of his death and left a wife and 3 children, according to Boston Daily Bee. The New Jersey State Police collected a family reference sample from one of his great-grandchildren in March 2025. Well, yeah, he managed to have children. That's cool. In April 2025, the NGSP confirmed that Scattered Man John Doe was Goodsell. This has become one of the oldest cold case identifications using an investigative genetic genealogy, Ramapo said. Ramapo is the community college. Identifying human remains is one of the most solemn and challenging responsibilities law enforcement is charged with, said Chief County Detectives Patrick Snyder in the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. Law enforcement works hard, knowing that behind every case is a promise that no one will be forgotten, and we will pursue the truth until families have the answers they deserve. The Ramapo College IGG Center has consulted 92 cases, Ramapo said. 2 months ago, the program is credited with helping identify the remains of a woman who disappeared in 2014. And in November 2024, student research led to an arrest in a decades-old cold case. So they're doing a good work out there, and they've identified themselves a skeleton. There's your story. Let's comment.
Tragic story, but now we know. Yeah.
I was gonna make a bad pun, but that wasn't what you spun, so my bad.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of those sailors were found between a rock and a hard place.
There you go.
A marble That's rock right. and a hard place. Oh, goodness.
Oh.
I can't believe it. Like, as soon as I heard, marble. They were transporting marble. Oh, and the ship sank, you said. In the ship sank, you said. Okay, metaphor. Yeah.
Perfect
you don't
metaphor.
Say. Who would have thought?
I was going to say back in 1844, the captain and crew lost their marbles. Yeah.
That works too. No bad
but it was
puns,
a tragedy. It's amazing, though. I mean, the captain had children, right? He didn't come home, so they knew he was dead, right? Or he just escaped and never just found somebody and never wanted to come back or write a letter or anything. So they probably assumed he was dead because the ship. They knew the ship sank, right? Yeah. The ship sank, one body washed up on shore. They knew he was dead, but they never found the body, right? So that's a great little wrapping it up. Too bad the family never found out, but at least like the great grandchildren know now. I don't know.
Okay, our next segue for our next story, which is going to be about a Sherpa. Visiting, or I say visiting, summiting Everest for the 31st time. This is mixed metaphor.
Wow.
Yeah, some people
But he's
can
used
only
to
go to
climbing.
the top of Everest once, but the Sherpa never get any of the celebration, do they?
They're used
Hi,
they're
me,
used to
some
altitude
guy.
sickness.
I
you live with
paid some guy to
altitude
get me
sickness,
to
you don't
Mount
get it.
Everest, and it's me. I'm the hero. What about this guy who's gone there 30? No, he's not a hero. That's just his lifestyle. This is by Bill Chappell on NPR.
Whoa, did you spin the wheel?
Yeah, mixed metaphor.
Oh, really? Don't remember you spinning the wheel. I thought you just.
Oh,
went through
okay.
your story.
I said
Okay.
it right before I started reading. It's fine.
Oh.
Mountaineer Kami Rita Sherpa broke his own record after climbing Mount Everest for the 31st time. He's seen here. Oh, here's an image of him doing the classic 2 thumbs up smile. That's what he's doing. Kami Rita Sherpa broken his own record, reaching the peak on Tuesday, which was, what was the Tuesday? Tuesday was yesterday, 27th. Now 55, Kami Rita first climbed the top of the world's highest mountain in 1994. So, as I said, as long as I've been alive, he's been doing it when he was 24 years old. Kami Rita has climbed Mount Everest nearly every year since the 1990s, sometimes completing 2 climbs in one climbing season. In 2019, for instance, he reached the summit twice in 1 week. Didn't even take a good break. 1 week break, let's go back up there. The legendary climber Kami Rita has trekked to many of the world's highest peaks, but considering only his Everest summits altogether, he has climbed nearly 90,000 feet above sea level on the famous peak. 89,992 feet using the latest estimate of Everest's height. That's about 17 miles above sea level, equivalent to the Earth's stratosphere. He's just up there with the birds. Right now, the closest competitor to Kami Rita's Guinness World Record for most ascents of Everest is Pasang Dawa Sherpa, a fellow Nepali guide who recently reached the top of Everest for the 29th time. Known as Pa Dawa, he completed his first Everest summit 4 years after Kami Rita first reached the height, but has finished the climb twice in a single season, multiple times, so I think Pa Dawa is going to catch up. A new feat was recorded this season when Tashi Gyaltsen Sherpa, 29, reached the summit of Everest 4 times in just 15 days. As the Himalayan Times reports, he now has reached the peak 8 times. There's just a bunch of climbers just celebrating. So many.
Yeah, just a bunch of rich white people, usually. Just a bunch of rich white people with nothing better to do. I can climb Everest! Because nobody
I'll show you the way. I go there all the time.
Yeah, I'm just saying, take as many rich people up to the top of that mountain as you can. That's my...
Another emerging rival is Nima Rinji Sherpa, who last year became the youngest person to summit the highest 14 peaks in the world at 18 years old. Nima Rinji recently wrote on Instagram about his ambitions to fill what he called a lot of space left in mountaineering history books, mentioning projects such as climbing an 80,000 meter peak in winter without a fixed rope, supplementary oxygen, and other aids. Okay, so he's looking to win the Darwin Award, it sounds like. Kami Rita reached Everest summit around 4 a.m. local time on Tuesday, the 27th, while leading a team for the 7 summit treks according to Expedition Agency. He is not just a national climbing hero, but a global symbol of Everest itself, agency said, as it announced the feat, wishing him a safe descent back to the base camp and looking forward to welcoming him to Kathmandu. Oh wait, so he's not even back yet? Something bad could happen to him and he already celebrated. New Zealand, probably not. 31 climbs. I guess, well, there is an argument. The more you do things, the more secure you feel in doing it and you make more mistakes. That's definitely not an argument there. But let's hope he arrives safely back at base camp. New Zealand, Edmund Hillary, and Nepali Sherpa Tenzing Norgay were the first climbing team to summit Everest, known as Nepali as Sagarmatha. They completed their climb in May 1953, but in recent years, Everest has sometimes seen high-altitude traffic jams, as hundreds of mountaineers attempt to reach the summit on a compressed schedule after concerns such as extreme winds shorten the climbing season. And of course, some of those people don't make it, even after paying these Sherpas probably thousands of dollars to get them up there, they still give up before they reach it. That's why it's still considered, I did it because I didn't give up. I think it's mental at the end. It's a mental, not just a physical success. The Kathmandu Post reported midday May, Nepal's Department of Tourism has issued permits to 456 foreign climbers, just shy of the record of 479 granted in 2023. When factored in Nepali guides, often assigned a 1-to-1 ratio, more than 1,000 people may try to reach the top, including the Sherpas themselves. So there is your wacky and weird news about people who love to climb up Mount Everest, mostly to make mad cash, I hope. I hope they're making mad cash, because, you know, you are risking
Climbing
your
Mount
life
Everest.
going up those mountains. So, as you said...
Climbing Mount Everest...
Yep.
It can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have that kind of disposable income. I'm just saying, it's only rich people that do it. So, I'm going to say these Sherpas, my mixed metaphor, these Sherpas are like elevator operators for people with too much money.
I have so much money. Let's go climb Mount Everest.
Exactly, 20,000. And I was looking up who's
people
the
donated to
youngest.
charity. Well, actually, I donated some to charity so I could not claim it on my taxes, but the rest of it to Mount Everest.
Right. I mean, I'm all for all the rich people that want to. Hey, you're super rich. Have you ever climbed Everest? You ought to try it, man. You ought to go. And you know,
they're helping Nepali economy thrive. You know.
Yeah, it's usually just rich people with too much money, and there's absolutely no point in climbing Everest. There's nothing. I mean, all you're gonna find out is there's no oxygen up there, and it's really cold. I mean, that's it. And you ain't gonna see a whole lot if it's cloudy. So what are you going up there for? Just say you did it? That's a rich
that's
person
exactly
thing.
why.
Sorry. That's it. So fine. And if they die up there, you don't have to. We save on burial costs because no
one's gonna deliver you down. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, again, you'd probably have to pay a Sherpa $500,000 to retrieve the body. What does he look like? Which one is he? Because there's a lot of dead people up there. A lot of dead people. I mean, that would be the only thing that would keep me. I'm gonna go to the top of a mountain just to see a bunch of corpses, right? Or a bunch of corpses on my way up, right?
Yeah.
You know, the ones that got buried in an avalanche and just got, you know, the snow blew, and there they are, frozen solid. You know, in the ice, going, I should have done this. Yeah, again, lots of people ended their lives for doing something stupid on Mount Everest. Okay. You got another story? Sorry.
No, that's it. That rant and a half as well.
I got two stories. I got too many comments. Sorry, I'm just saying. I was like, for the things that people do on this planet, climbing Mount Everest to me seems the most. I mean, whatever, if you want to do it, fine, but you ain't seeing a lot of poor people there. And the youngest person to climb Everest was 13 years old, and I'm sure his parents were rich, because 13-year-olds don't have $100,000 laying around typically.
Yeah.
All right,
okay, mixed metaphor for me.
Another mixed metaphor. You breaking the wheel again. I don't know. Everything's breaking. Snafu's out of the way. PopularMechanics.com has a story. Tim Newcomb, archaeologist, followed a sketch by Leonardo da Vinci. It led to a secret tunnel. That's right. An underground tunnel network. Well, let's not read the bullet points. Oh, somebody just clicking on my phone. It's probably somebody telling me, I can't see you. The artworks of Leonardo da Vinci are vast and storied. The Last Supper, the Vitruvian Man, the Mona Lisa, for goodness sake. But even amongst such storied and well-studied body of work, there can still be a few surprises left to discover. And recently, a team of researchers discovered one of those surprises. One drawing of a castle tunnel from a 1400s era castle tunnel. See the drawing. What's that? What you laughing at?
I just thought you read that. A drawing of a castle tunnel.
Yeah, a castle tunnel from a 1400s era castle. The team, which included experts from Polytechnic University of Milan, Code Vintic, and Forza Castle, teamed up to employ ground-penetrating radar and laser scanning that mapped multiple feet under the castle. In doing so, I wonder how dangerous ground-penetrating radar is. That always makes me wonder. Does a radio waves that are strong enough to penetrate the ground and go through rocks?
I don't want to
stand.
I don't want to be standing under that. I don't want to find out.
Yeah, you get a giant tumor on your neck from working with that stuff, I imagine. And laser scanning that mapped multiple feet under the castle. In doing so, they discovered not only that tunnels Leonardo alluded to in his drawing existed, but they may only be a simple piece of an intricate system weaving through the site. The ground-penetrating radar enriched the 3D model with data on known but inaccessible spaces, bringing to light unknown walkways and ideas for further studies on secret passages. Francisco Bialo, researcher of the Polytechnic University in Milan, said in a statement, "The castle took on a new life in the 1400s when the Duke of Milan, Francesco Sforza, reconstructed an ancient site. He turned it into the Sforza Castle, complete with towers, courtyards, and fresco-lined halls. In 1494, Francisco's successor, Lodovico Sforza, built on the castle's tradition and hired Leonardo da Vinci to create art for the castle. According to the ArtNet, in his effort to complete the project, Leonardo documented, they left the D off the word documented, unless he did documented the case's unseen tunnel system, as recorded in Codex Forster 1. Experts believe the tunnels were once likely used for military operations, but other portions of the system could have included personal touches as well. One passageway, for instance, connects the castle to the Basilica of Santa Maria del Grazi, a church built by Francisco that houses Leonardo's The Last Supper. It was also the site of Sforza's family burials, which may have afforded those living in the castle quicker access to the tombs of loved ones, such as Ludovico's wife, Beatrice d'Este. Yeah, you definitely want quick access to a graveyard. One of them graveyard emergencies. I don't know. That makes no sense. Well, I want a cemetery, but I want to be able to get it to it fast. I don't understand. Probably just a nice way to escape people, I would think. Tunnels are there for escapes. They're not there for quick access. They're there for hiding and escaping. Or hiding stuff.
Hiding your dead bodies.
Nowadays, hiding the Holy Grail, perhaps, right? Because we have that Da Vinci Code book.
All right, of course.
Da Vinci Code. Nowadays, the castle complex is home to 3 different museums. Pinacoteca del Castillo Sforzesco, the Museum of Rondanina Pieta, and the Museum of Ancient Art. That must be a big stinking castle. It's got 3 museums. While the underground system may not currently be fully accessible, the ground-penetrating radar and laser scanning used to confirm its presence would still unlock a fresh perspective on the Sforza. God, I'll learn how to pronounce it yet. Sforza Castle's underground world. The goal is to create a digital twin of the Sforza Castle, a digital model that not only presents the current appearances of the castle, but also allows you to explore the past, recovering historical elements that are no longer visible. Franco Guzzetti, professor of geomatics at Polytechnic University of Milan, said in a statement, "Adding argument reality to their visual past could invite visitors to explore the underground environments." Oh, really? And inaccessible historical places in a fresh museum experience. The artwork of Leonardo has enabled the delight of modern audiences yet again. There's your story about, hey, look, we can turn this into a tourist trap. Let's simulate these tunnels, because we can't send tourists down there because they'll probably collapse on them and kill them. But we can do is we can simulate these tunnels and have them run through it like a virtual game, right? Yeah, we're on to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's better that it's a virtual game than going off the rails into a coffin.
Right. There you go.
There's your mixed metaphor.
It's an emergency. I got to get to the graveyard right away. I don't know what the hell that means. Quick access to a graveyard. It's like, are you really need to bury bodies that fast? I don't know. Anyway, that's like the Steve Martin movie, Man with Two Brains. This woman's dead. Oh no, she's dead. Let's get her to a cemetery right away. All right, next story. This is from the FarmingdaleObserver.com. Unknown bacteria on Earth has developed in the Chinese space station. Oh no. And yeah, this is kind of like science fiction. If you've seen science fictions where, well, space viruses, space bacteria. An unknown bacterium, there's nobody's name on this article. An unknown bacterium never before seen on our planet has been discovered on Chinese space station Tiangong. This discovery, worthy of science fiction scenarios, raises new questions about life in orbit and microbiological risks. In May of 23, during a routine mission carried out by the Shenzhou 15 crew, samples taken from the habitation module on the Chinese space station Tiangong revealed that the presence of bacterium previously unknown on Earth, named Nealia tiangonggensis, wow, I hope I'm saying it again. Let's just call it NT, after the station where it was born. Okay, this species intrigues scientists because of its unique characteristics and its adaptation to the space environment. Ooh, I'm so excited. It's probably going to wipe us all out. Then we're going to bring it back to the planet Earth and wipe us all out. You watch. According to the study carried out as part of the China Space Station Habitation Area Microbiome Program, or CHAMP, the microbiome on the Tiangong station differs markedly from that on the International Space Station, or the ISS. The researchers found a dominance of microbes associated with humans, but also marked functional and genetic diversity, with mutations probably linked to the adaptations of extreme conditions of space, microgravity, increased radiation, confinement, and strict cleaning cycles. Oh yeah. Yeah, radiation causes mutation. That's a fact. It's a proven fact. Radiation causes mutations. And we know that astronaut Mark Kelly's DNA has changed from being in space for so much and so long. The heck was that noise?
I don't know.
Okay, you're still there. All right. Oh, it sounded like you disconnected. Nyalia tianjongensis is related to the Nyalia circulans, a soil bacterium known for its robustness, formerly classified as a pathogenic bacillus. Like its cousins, it's capable of forming spores which act as survival capsules in the face of environmental stress. But what sets it apart from its unprecedented ability to break down gelatin to extract nitrogen and carbon, a precise asset for building a protective biofilm and withstanding the hostile environments or the hostile conditions of space. On the other hand, it seems to have lost the ability to use other sources of energy, which testifies to the astonishing plasticity of living organisms when faced with a new environment. This capacity for rapid adaptation is a reminder of the extent of which space is a natural laboratory for microbial evolution. Of course, we know the smaller things like viruses and bacteria don't have DNA, they have RNA, so they mutate at random. Just anything that happens, they're RNA based. While it's not yet known whether Nialia, which is pronounced, I think, Nyalia, tianjongensis, still can't say it, poses a direct threat to the health of astronauts. And similarly, its similarity to bacteria capable of causing severe infections in immunocompromised individuals mean that caution is advised. Oh boy. Yeah, we don't have anything that can kill this because we never heard of it. It's a new bacteria. Especially as the accumulation of mutations and the growing resistance to antibiotics observed in the station could complicate the management of any contamination. We're all gonna die. Anyway, that's just me panicking, sorry. Researchers stress the importance of understanding how this microorganisms settle, evolve, and interact with humans and equipment on board, because the risk is not just to health. Uncontrolled microbial proliferation could also damage sensitive equipment, even compromise the smooth running of missions. Discovery of Nyalia tianjongensis is not an isolated case. Studies carried out by NASA.
Actually giving you a stroke live on stream trying to say this word.
I could spell it quicker than I can pronounce it. I love scientists. Those make it really hard to pronounce. Studies carried out by NASA.
No, let's make it really hard for the layman to say.
Tiangongenesis. What else would we call it but Tiangongenesis? Anyway, studies carried out in NASA's clean rooms during the preparations for the Phoenix mission to Mars revealed the presence. Man, it's really raining outside. I just looked at it. I'm distracted. Preparation for the Phoenix mission to Mars revealed that the presence of dozens of unknown bacteria species capable of surviving in conditions that were thought to be sterile. These microbes owe their resilience to genes specializing in DNA repair and resistance to toxic substances. Faced with the prospect of manned missions to the moon, Mars, and beyond, Mastering the space microbiome is becoming a crucial issue. It is no longer just a question of preventing contamination, but of anticipating how these organisms will adapt and evolve in closed and extreme environments. The discovery of this unknown bacterium in the Tiangong station appears a new page in research into life and sciences. And to life in space, sorry. It serves as a reminder that despite all the precautions taken, man is never alone in this interstellar journeys. Invisible microorganisms could well play a key role in success or failure of future great space adventures. So this is up in China to solve because the United States is basically gonna just shut down our government in a couple of years, so we're not gonna be able to do anything about this.
Well, at least we'll get that new world order everyone, all the Nazis want. Maybe not the one they want.
Yep. Basically, as we become a sub-satellite state of Russia, slowly, we are going to basically just become. Yep. Basically, yeah. I'm just saying. I don't know why people think we're safe. We're not. Russia has already infiltrated our government and at the highest levels. So I don't know. Why would we think we're still going to have a country in 4 years? I don't think we are. I don't think we're going to have a country. I think we're just going to have a bunch of people fighting. But hey, that's what we're headed for. Anyway, China, with their bacteria. Not like they lied about any viruses in the past, right?
Whoa, that's false news.
No, it ain't. Bullshit. They fucking lied about it. They kept it under wraps until it was spread all over the world. They freaking lied about it. The Chinese government
gonna have to look at a study for that one.
Kept the virus. Nope, it's the absolute truth. The scientists who discovered
it's not the absolute truth. We shouldn't argue about this because we're going to get blocked on YouTube again. Every time we got blocked on YouTube for that, we got a community strike against us. Last time we went on an
because the
argument
Chinese government lies. I don't think it's a revelation to know that the Chinese government lies. I don't think that's a freaking revelation. I don't think that's really.
I'm just trying to steer you away from a community strike, okay? Let's continue.
I don't think that's moving
the show.
I don't think that's moving to Overton window, Eddie, to assume that governments lie. Wow. Well, governments lie. Wow, not that. Oh, wow, what a radical new thought. Okay.
Anyway. For my mixed metaphor, they're kicking the hornet's nest in the China shop. There you go.
There you go. Nice pun too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I thought I was pretty clever for that one. Let's roll our segue wheel for our.
That's a 3-pointer.
Culture story.
That's a 3-pointer. That's beyond the 3-point line. Hit a 3-pointer there.
The 5-pointer.
She pulls it to the lead late in the fourth quarter with a 3-pointer.
Okay, I'm rolling the wheel again because it literally rolled mixed metaphor 3 times in a row. That's just crazy to me.
Fix the wheel. Just take it.
There's nothing to fix. It's based off of some sort of random number generator, and sometimes that random number is the number you just pressed earlier. Reminds me of a song.
Yeah, the lottery
this should be easy. There's a lot of songs that can remind you of by James Bond.
Okay.
That's right. This is from Euronews Culture by David Moraquand. Is Omega the watchmaker leaking the new James Bond? Hello, Mr. Bond. We've been expecting you. Could Aaron Taylor Johnson becoming Omega brand ambassador be the James Bond confirmation we've all been waiting for? It's one of the most closely guarded secrets in the industry, the identity of the next 007. It has been 4 years since the release of Daniel Craig's dramatic swan song as Bond in No Time to Die, and since then the rumor mill has been working overtime. People are impatient for the next movie in the series. Euronews reported last year that one candidate may have the edge over countless others, and now unlikely sources may have confirmed it and let the vodka martini swagging cat out of the bag. Oh, let me read this previous article. Yeah, they're thinking it might have been Aaron Taylor Johnson. So now they're just fishing for confirmation. Now, what is this? Confirmation bias. Hey, this looks like it's a sign. Luxury watchmaker Omega has announced Bond favorite Aaron Taylor Johnson as the brand's latest global ambassador. So what, may you ask? Well, it's not just the gig, considering the watch brand has been Bond's marker of choice ever since Pierce Brosnan got the Omega in GoldenEye. Add the fact that both Bronson and Daniel Craig were Omega ambassadors before they headed the MI6. Doesn't seem too much of a perfectly timed coincidence. Not at all. Play this huge video on the article, and then I can't read the article anymore. In an Instagram post, Omega praised Taylor Johnson's visit. Omega welcomes Aaron Taylor Johnson to our watchmaking home in Bienne. The actor and Golden Globe winner stepped into our watchmaking home for an exclusive tour, meeting the watchmakers behind our timepieces. The post features the 34-year-old looking smooth as a veal cutlet. Okay, David, got a little crush, do ya? Smooth as a veal cutlet in a brown suede jacket, flaunting a stunning Omega piece, the Speedmaster First Omega in space, on his left wrist. The actor stated, "I've always had an appreciation for timepieces, but especially for Omega. Now, after visiting the factory, I'm in awe of the skill required to manufacture such a luxurious project. Of course, recession indicator, nobody's going to be able to afford that watch. Nobody you know, anyways. There is still no announcement confirming the kick-ass Nosferatu and 28 years later actor to be the next Bond, but considering the franchise is getting a massive overhaul courtesy of Amazon, who are keen to speed up the process, this is looking mighty promising and maybe more than a rumor. Still, only time will tell. Get it? Watches. It's about watches. Let me read about this Amazon overhaul. Oh yeah, right. They're filming a new Spider-Man, a new Harry Potter film, and a James Bond movie, but they haven't really decided. This was in March. This was in March when they were talking about this. So, are they actually going to? They're supposedly speeding it up, but they haven't been speeding it up enough because we still don't know who the next James Bond is. 3 months later.
Isn't it going to be a woman this time?
Fast tracking it, how quick? I think if they've already hired a James Bond, you would know. They would have already said. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, they're planning on. They paused it in 2021, and yeah, it hasn't been had any filmed yet. So we'll see what happens. For your Bond lovers out there, I know it's Ian Fleming's birthday or whatever today, so definitely around the time to maybe not his birthday to do something, I guess. Remind you of a song? There's a pile of songs I could remind you of.
Oh, I guess it would be When You Were Young and Your Heart Was an Open Book. That one? You used to say live and let live.
You know you did, you know you did, you know you did.
But in this ever-changing world in which we live in, makes you give in and cry. To live and let die.
Okay. Anyways, karaoke over.
The Paul McCartney version. Although you can listen to the Guns N' Roses version, I don't mind that.
It's a good song for sure.
Yeah. Axl Rose didn't screw that song up like he did with Knock on Heaven's Door. But,
yeah, a couple of them, yeah.
And National Day Calendar.
Headline for our This Day in History.
All right, This Day in History. We're going to go all the way back May 20, what is it, the 28th? Yeah, I don't want to do tomorrow. Although tomorrow's pretty interesting because we're going to talk about, tomorrow's actually the anniversary of what? Edmund Hillary climbing Everest. So there you go. So your story, it was not merely coincidence. It was not merely coincidence. It happened, 1953.
Did you get my link, by the way? I sent you a link.
Yes, I did. I got your link. I put two and two together and realized, oh, my Facebook alarm went off. What was that? Anyway, I'm not as dumb as I look, although it's very close. 1291, Crusader rule in the Holy Land came to an end as the Mamluks took the city of Acre, the last stronghold of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Of course, going back to the Da Vinci Code, right? That was part of it. That was the last stronghold of the Knights Templars in the city of Acre. And there's, speaking of tunnels, there's a network of tunnels in the city of Acre where the Knights Templars supposedly hid the Ark of the Covenant, or the Holy Grail, or the first Mickey Mouse comic book, or whatever the hell they were hiding there. Anyway, in 1660 on this day, George the First, the Elector of Hanover and the first Hanoverian king of Great Britain, was born in Osnabrück, Germany. Hey, we've been there. We stayed overnight in Osnabrück. Right on, man. That's where I think we even found that while we were staying in the hotel. Hey, this is where King George was born. I remember that. Anyway, that's where he was born, Osnabrück, and he was born on this day in 1660. Happy birthday to George I, the first Hanoverian king, which they English throne wanted no. They wanted what they call papists or Catholics in the throne, or anybody that even had a soft spot for the Catholics. They wanted themselves a Protestant, so they went all the way to Germany. And they really had to search for distant cousins. Hey, that guy, he's a Protestant, make him king. Anyway, in 1788, the Federalist Papers, a series of 85 essays on the proposed new U.S. Constitution and on the nature of Republican government, written in 1787 by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, were published in book form. Of course, the Federalist Society has nothing to do with the Federalist Papers, but the Federalist Society is the people. They are the people that have ruined the Supreme Court. In 1804, Napoleon proclaimed the establishment of the French Empire. Woohoo! We are the French Empire. You will not defeat us, he said. Now go away. 1803. 1803 and 1830, as we talked about, the Supreme Court has no actual enforcement arm except the Justice Department, which is controlled by the executive. This is why our Constitution is screwed up, because in 1830, the Indian Removal Act was passed, allowing U.S. President Andrew Jackson to grant Native American tribes unsettled in western prairie land in exchange for their settlements within the borders of the extant U.S. states, thereby clearing the way for the further white settlement, known as the Trail of Tears. The Supreme Court said it was illegal, and Andrew Jackson said, okay, you try and stop me, Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, we're just some guys in robes, we don't do shit. So anyway, they didn't stop them. So again, the Supreme Court is basically has no function in our government other than to say that's illegal, and only the people that give a shit about laws have to obey it. So my old bromide is laws are only passed for honest people and poor people, because rich people don't have to follow them, and criminals, well, they're criminals. Anyway, 1888, American athlete Jim Thorpe was born, one of the most accomplished all-around athletes in history. He was actually named the best athlete of the 20th century by sports writers. There's several polls. Of course, he was an American Indian, Sac Fox Indian, born on a reservation, probably not the ones created by Andrew Jackson, because I believe he's born in the north, not the south, and the Trail of Tears was mostly in the south. I think it was all in the south. In 1934, the Dion quintuplets, the first set of documented quintuplets to survive, were born in Ballender, Ontario. The Dion quintuplets, 5 kids at once. Now you think, whoa, I can't afford that. But this was in the 1930s, and they got famous, and people started donating clothes to them. So let's they probably had their colleges paid for too. I don't know. I mean, just say, when you get famous, people want to be associated with you for some reason.
Yep. I think they're going to get some of that fame rubbed off on them.
That's right. Look, the Dion quintuplets are wearing the outfits I made for them in my sewing machine. Oh, I'm so special, right? That's what people got. And this was in 1934, so the Dion quintuplets are turning, if they're around, they might not be, because they would be 91 today. That's pretty old. 1934, the German automaker Volkswagen was founded and restituted a priced people's car. That's what Volkswagen translates to. The company originally operated
people
by
or folks,
by the Nazi organization. But
and don't worry,
again,
everyone in Europe talks about it all the time. Isn't that weird? Why do we let Volkswagen still be a company? They were Nazis.
Well, the same for Mercedes-Benz, the same for BMW, right? They're all German.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Volkswagens
was specifically supposed to be the people's car, as in the white race, the people.
The Volkswagen's one problem, as we were talking about before, was planned obsolescence. It was made too well. It lasted too long. So, yeah. Not saying it was a bad car or a good car. I'm just saying the engines put a lot of miles on for the age, for the time and place, right? Now you get, Hondas will go play for 1 million miles. But, anyway. Volkswagen was born on this day. Happy birthday to the Beetle, we call it lovingly. And there's a lot of people that collect them. It's a very popular. In fact, my first trip to Mexico City. My first trip to Mexico City was an eye-opener. Every yellow cab you saw was a Volkswagen Beetle. That was astounding to me. Yeah, anyway. 1937, Neville Chamberlain became the Prime Minister of United Kingdom and almost immediately sold us down the river to Hitler. In 1998, Pakistan successfully conducted several underground nuclear tests, making it the 7th country to possess nuclear weapons, and said to India, you can't fuck with us now. In 1999, some 2 decades after restoration work, Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper took 2 days to restore it. Was reopened to the public in Santa Maria del Grazi in Milan. So more Leonardo-related news. And on this day in 2014, a sad day, American poet and memoirist, Maya Angelou, whose several volumes of biography explore the themes of economic, racial, and sexual oppression, died at the age of 86. So, sad day, we lose America's great poets. Also, this day, our featured event, 1961, Amnesty International was founded. Yes, dedicated to informing public opinion about human rights and the securing the release of political prisoners. Amnesty International was founded in London on this day in 1961 and won the 1977 Nobel Peace Prize. Our featured biography is Ian Fleming, who we just talked about. It's his birthday, so we're talking about James Bond. He's the one that wrote all of James Bond, at least up to a certain point he wrote them, and I think he left it in his estate that somebody else writes the new ones, all right?
Yeah.
May 28th, 1908 was his birthday, so he would be 117 today, but he's not around. He only lived to be 56. So the last James Bond book, written by Ian Fleming, was released over 60 years ago. So there you go, James Bond, author's birthday. Other birthdays today is Nandamuri Taraka Ramarao. That's his name. He's an Indian actor, director, and politician, born 102 years ago. Jerry West's birthday, just recently passed away. American basketball player, coach, and manager. Los Angeles Lakers for most of his career. I think all of his career. Born in 1938. He would be almost 90 today. He would be 87. It's Rudy Giuliani's, 81st birthday? That guy's still hanging on. Kelly Minogue, birthday. She's born in 1968, so she's 57. Happy birthday to Kylie Minogue. Our National Day calendar, it is National Beef Burger Day, National Flip Flop Day. No, not the politicians that change their mind every 5 seconds. The things you wear in your feet when you go to the beach. Those things you wear in your feet so you don't get your shoes full of sand. That's today's day, because a lot of people going to the beach. It's summertime here. National Senior Health and Fitness Day. That's my day today. I want to get up there and get fit. I don't know if I'm officially a senior, but
yes, I think you are. If you can get that senior discount at the restaurants, that makes you a senior, right?
Jeez, I think you get that at 50 some places. Anyway.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? The earlier the better, I say. We need those discounts now that the economy's going to crap. So yeah, give me that discount.
It's and today is all about the meats. You hear that? Arby's. We need a sponsor, Arby's. Today's all about the meats. And go to Arby's. Get your National Beef Brisket Day, which I love a brisket sandwich, or just brisket by itself. Just brisket and brisket. Maybe a little barbecue sauce on the side. Maybe a little hot sauce. And National Hamburger Day and National Beef Burger Day, which are exactly the same thing. Unless you consider a hamburger made with something besides beef. I guess you can make it from chicken, you can make it from soy. I mean, when I was in Okinawa, I don't think I had one hamburger that was made from meat. It was all made from soy. We had soy burgers the whole damn time. When I hear people say, well, the Impossible Meat Burger from whoever, I'm like, we already got soy burgers. You know? I mean, anyway, I ate them the whole time I was in Okinawa, God's sake. Anyway, there's your days. Your mispronunciations, your spins of the wheel, your technical glitches from hell, and everything else on this day from May 28th, 2025, on before beef burgers, hamburgers, and brisket. Eat them all. Just have a big old.
There's going to be so much protein. You're going to be jacked. Speaking of being jacked, Jackson Jack's Justice, Amnesty Awarded Awareness, Strong Senior Survive, and Meet Merrily. There's your alliteration headlines for today's day in history. Nice. This has been Allison from the Netherlands, Roger from the United States, East Coast of the United States. And let me check to see if there's any international days today. I don't think there are, but we'll look. Nope. But it's still Week of Solidarity with peoples of non-self-governing territories. Those places that do not have their own government, and they're considered territories of another country. And a lot of cases, no one gives a shit about anyone who lives there.
You know who should give a shit about American Samoa in the United States? And they definitely do give a shit, is the NFL.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There are more NFL players from American Samoa than any other state per capita, right?
Yeah.
It's like not even close, right?
Crazy.
Like 10% of the population is a football player. Like the male population is going. I'm in the NFL because I'm bigger.
We need more American Samoa people in the government so that they can represent the territory of American Samoa.
That's right. American Samoa should be a state. That's what it should be. It should be a state.
Just think about it.
Just think of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that the athletes on that, the NFL players on that island probably bring up the average national GDP by 3-4-fold, right? I mean, there's no industry in America. They're not making shoes for everybody or something, right? They're just, on a vacation place out in the Pacific somewhere. I don't even know where it is exactly, right?
It's somewhere.
Anyway.
Let's end the show.
I was going to bring up a point. The NFL actually now sponsors an all-star game in the islands. So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, very cool.
They show it on television. I was watching it the other day. Anyway, back to your thing.
Okay. This has been us. We will see you tomorrow for Thursday's 13, where we'll talk way too long about a list of 13 things. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you have those notifications on so you know when we go live and post a video, especially when we're talking about whatever's going on tomorrow. So without further ado, let's go to our Maya Angelou poem for this mic drop moment. Perk up your ears.
The issues which face us all are not just how to survive. Obviously, we are doing that somehow. But really how to thrive. Really. Thrive with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. This poem is called And Still I Rise. Now, every person in this auditorium has gone to sleep one night or another, or gone to bed one night or another, with fear, or pain, or loss, or terror, unhappiness, grief, insecurity.
All the bad things.
And yet each of us has awakened, arisen, seen another human being and said, "Morning, how are you?" "Fine, thanks, and you?" Now, wherever that abides, whether it's behind the kneecap and the bend of the elbow or between the teeth, wherever that lives, there we will find our nobleness. Not nobility, I think that's a pompous word, but the nobleness of the human spirit, that we rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust.
Yeah, that's right.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high. Still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes. Shoulders falling down like teardrops. Weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard.
I like she laughs.
I laugh.
Yeah.
as if I have gold mines digging
Well,
in
she's
my own backyard.
humanizes poetry
You
here.
can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, all right. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh.
No.
Does it come as a surprise that I dance? As if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into
Goodbye.
a miraculously clear.
Yeah, dance it away.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
I feel like only Maya Angelou could have a crowd, a stadium full of people.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.